just want to get like a sample pose, so get ready to sample pose it with me. Like go around it, but on the back side of it. And like do like some kind of like thumbnail looking thing. I just want to see how it looks.
Come on, man, buy my scooter. Oh, fucking. You're an asshole.
How's it going, everybody? Aaron with Siegfried's Motorwerx here today. We're going to be doing a test ride video on this 2005 Yamaha Vino 125. We got this one in a couple weeks ago. Skateboard bearings. We got this one in here a couple weeks ago. Been waiting on some parts. It's the biggest thing when we're doing any kind of service work or repairing units right now for sale, is getting the parts. So finally got everything in. This is a real nice scooter, 4,000 some miles on it. But at any rate, let's go out and see what the Vino 125 is all about. I just need my sheet. Couple of buddies. 50s in stock right now. Anyone looking for buddies? Also a Hooligan 170. We'll get a review on that. I don't know if we'll do it today just because it is raining. And that's a brand new unit. I don't know that I want to get it dirty. A couple cool things with the Vino before we get going too far here is electric start and kick start on this one. So you don't have to worry about dead batteries not letting you get home. Another thing with the Vinos is they have this real nice big open floorboard. That's really nice, especially if you're hauling anything, ever hauling anything that doesn't fit underneath the seat. You can put it on your floorboard. That's a really nice big feature there. So as we go out the driveway here, let's get a couple quick ones banged out about this Vino 125. These are produced by Yamaha from 2004 to 2010 for the United States. They did run them another year in Canada. I'm not sure about the overseas market, but specifically in the North American market. 2010 for the States, 2011 for Canada. These things get an average of 70 miles per gallon in mixed use. 29.9 inch seat height. Has a 125 cc motor. It's electric and kickstart. We already covered that though. 240 pound wet weight, 1.2 gallon fuel tank. What I could find as far as horsepower goes is it supposedly makes 11 horsepower, so I don't know, sounds close enough. But this thing being a 125, it is a much more capable scooter. Now there again though, it is a 4-stroke, which most of your larger, once you go over 49 cc, it's kind of difficult to find a 2-stroke scooter. But anyways, 4-stroke scooter, 125 cc's. They're capable. Like, this is a small incline. You know, once you go above that 49 cc class, that's where you do see that power come into play. Is just, you know, being able to carry the weight and speed up a hill. So that's one of the big benefits to the 125. This is a 2-up scooter model, so you can ride this with your buddy, with your wife, with your husband, with anyone who's willing to sit on the back and wrap their arms around you. As far as the Vino 125s go, I kind of have a love-hate relationship with these things. We've had a couple of them over the years. They're not necessarily the most popular scooters for us to be able to get our hands on. The used market isn't that bad. They're kind of difficult to find, but these things did carry a half-decent price tag. And Yamaha's thought was, well, for $1,000 extra you could get a Vino 125 over a Vino 50. But then the other side they didn't take into consideration was, for another $1,000 you could get, a Vespa over a Vino 125. So they kind of priced themselves correctly for their lineup, but they didn't necessarily take into account, I don't think, the other offerings from other scooter names, especially Vespa. With Vespa kind of being the Harley Davidson of scooters, you always have to bear in mind, if you get too close in price to them, you're going to have trouble competing with them. So that's one thing to bear in mind with these Vinos. Parts wise, there's availability of these things till the end of the day. I mean, there's tons and tons of parts available for these. Aftermarket isn't necessarily, as far as performance parts goes, there's not as abundant as some scooters, but there is stuff available. I know one of the most popular things that we've done to Vino 125s for their owners is we do an exhaust, because there is a catalytic converter built into the exhaust on these. We also do occasionally we'll do carb mods, or not carb mods, but carb replacements. Typically, if we're doing anything in the carb, we're just upjetting to account for an exhaust and an intake if the person's going that route, and also working the CVT. There's definitely room for these things to grow. This one is 100% bone stock, so there is room for improvement there, and that's on anything when you're buying a brand new, when you're buying a stock unit, it doesn't matter what you're buying. It's there's always going to be room for improvement, just because they have to make sure these things are going to be A, as reliable as humanly possible, and then B, they're also concerned with, making sure it's set up, correctly for all sizes of riders. So once you would get your hands on one, figure out, what your goals are with it, you can get a couple more mile per hour out of it, and you can also get a couple more, you can get better acceleration out of it as well too. So that being said, but it's still a great scooter in a stock form. They're pretty peppy. The one thing you have to remember with these Vino 125s is it's not necessarily designed for the highway. While you can take this, I think these things have a top speed in the 55, 65 mile per hour range. So you could go on the highway, but more or less this is for the rider who wants to, be able to buzz around town and have that extra throttle reserve when he wants it. And, that's their big name, that's their big claim to fame. Just got to go in here. We actually just bought a V-Star 250 with the payoffs for a customer. So
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.
Alright, well, as we get back on our journey here now, I know I said about this, these Vino 125s and I having a love-hate relationship. Here's a couple of things and reasons as to what, why, where, and, where I come from on that. Love about it. Seating position on this thing's absolutely awesome. Big, huge floorboard on this thing's awesome. The look of it, honestly, I really do like it. I was a little taken aback at first by them when I first started looking at them in person a couple years ago, but since then they really have grown on me. I think they're really good looking scooters overall. Love the fact that it's electric start and kickstart. I think that every single scooter should have both, just because of the way that these things charge. I don't think that just relying on electric start alone on these things is enough. Other than that, things that I do love about it too is, for riding it specifically around town, these things are really fun just because they do have that extra punch. And realistically, when you're sitting on it chassis wise and just, general look and feel, it doesn't seem that much bigger than a 50cc scooter. Specifically for me being a bigger guy, I feel much more comfortable on a scooter of this size than I do on a, on a 49cc scooter. So those are the things that I do love about them. What I don't like about them, after riding some of the offerings from other scooter companies, specifically the Genuine Scooter Company Buddy Kick and also the Genuine Scooter Company Buddy 125, and like the Kimco Agilities, this thing's a pooch, man. Yamaha's supposed to be the top dog when it comes to anything power sport related. Yamaha's always been known for being reliable and fast and doing it in a good looking package, and they just don't deliver fully on this. I guess in 2004 or 5, I forget now, but yeah, 2004. I guess in 2004 when this thing would have came out, it was probably a pretty snippy scooter for being in the 125 classic. I mean, before that you were dealing with like the Riva 125s and like the Honda Elite. They had a 125. They also had like a 152, but those scooters are even more lackluster than this. But those couple of buddies from Genuine Scooter Company and the Kimco, those scooters really outshine, like, even in my opinion, even the Honda's offerings, and nowadays like the Honda PCX 150s and those other brands, specifically just because they're so much cheaper to buy. If you're buying a brand new even if this was brand new today, if you were buying a brand new one of these based back on their 2009 price tag or 2010 price tag, and you were to buy a brand new genuine scooter company or Kimco, I mean, you're going to spend more money on the Yamaha. And realistically, I mean, quality wise, I'd say they're all about the same. When you're dealing with the Vino 125, let's talk about the ride. The ride of this thing, it goes down the road super smooth. The transmission on this thing is super smooth. The suspension on this thing rides nice. I mean, it's a really nice riding scooter. It doesn't do anything, you know, fantastic. Like, you're not going to get on this thing and be, man, that is the absolute smoothest running down the road scooter I've ever been on. But you're going to say, that thing rides down the road nice. You're not going to say, man, this thing takes turns better than any other scooter I've ever been on. You're just going to say it takes turns really nicely. So it's a great all-around bike as far as the ride and also the handling go. Power wise, like I prefaced before, it's a little bit lackluster for what it could be capable of, and what, you know, I know our shop has done on them. If Yamaha would have done that, I mean, I'm certainly not anywhere near as smart as Yamaha's engineers who built this thing, and I just wish they would have put a little more pep in its step out of the box in stock form. But at the end of the day, it's not a thing that can't be fixed with some aftermarket parts. What else? Oh, reliability. I mean, that's the biggest thing. That's what everyone's always worried about, you know, especially when you're buying used power sports, is, you know, what's the longevity of this thing? You know, is my investment going to get me a year? Is my investment going to get me 5 years? Is it going to get me 100 miles? Is it going to get me 500 miles? Is it going to get me 500,000 miles? I would honestly say the Vino 125, when we're dealing with Yamaha's lineup of scooters, specifically, when we're dealing with Yamaha's lineup of scooters, let's not even think about the two-stroke scooters, because we all know how much Siegfried's Motorwerx loves two-stroke scooters. Let's just deal only with the four-stroke scooters. The Vino 125 is hands down one of the most bulletproof motors that Yamaha has made in the four-stroke variety. I like the fact that it is carbureted. Some owners won't like that, and they'll say, well, there's so much extra maintenance. There's really not. The extra maintenance that you're going to go through, I just want to go bang through here quick, just that way I can add a little bit on here for you guys. The little bit of extra maintenance that goes into owning a carbureted bike is the fact that if you're not going to ride it, which if you're not going to ride it, don't buy it. If you're buying and you're spending money on a scooter, man, put miles on it, save gas, use it to commute, take it to the grocery store, take it to the gas station, whatever you need. That's what they're meant for. They're meant to run. But where people end up saying carburation gets a bad name is because people will have these, they won't ride them, they'll sit for 5 years, and then they'll go out and they'll try and start them, and then the carburetor will have been gummed up. There's two solutions to that. Number one, ride your scooter. Number two, if you know it's going to be sitting for a while, every carburetor has a little screw at the bottom of it that drains the bowl. Go in, drain the bowl out, let it sit empty, and you won't have an issue. In 5 years when you go to restart it, as long as your gas is treated and your gas, or even if you did treat it, but as long as your gas isn't shot, the scooter's going to fire right up every single time. So the nice thing with that too is you don't have to deal with the fuel injection, which can get somewhat finicky depending on the make and model and certain things. You know, it does add a level of, I shouldn't even say it adds, it subtracts a level of do-it-yourself for independent people that want to, you know, if their scooter breaks, they want to fix it at home. They don't want to take it to a dealership. So carburation, that option's always there. Fuel injection, depending on what your issue is, yes, you can do that, but there are certain problems where you're not going to be able to take it, you know, you're not going to be able to fix it at home. You're going to have to take it to a dealership or to a certified shop that's, you know, able to get your scooter fixed up for you and running right. So, but at any rate, that was my little Vino 125 ride. Thank you so much for coming with me on this one today. If you can, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, stay up to date with everything going on here at Siegfried's Motorwerx, and if you're so inclined, leave me a comment and let me know. That's another feature too here, quick while we're in there. Center stand and Jiffy stand, but leave a comment, let me know what you think of this Vino 125 by Yamaha, and as always, thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day.